guys, welcome back to another episode of Nanny News. It's your host, Ashley, aka Nanny Announcements. And this week, we are back with our juicy stories. If you have not watched that channel recently, we dedicated the entire month of May to 5 extraordinary nannies. So the past 5 weeks have been all about these 5 extraordinary nannies, their stories, why they become a nanny, why they continue to become a nanny, and what they are doing in this nanny industry. If you have not watched any of those, you're missing out, and you need to go back and watch those after this video. Pause this video, go watch them, whatever you need to do, but you need to go and watch all 5 of them. We got Courtney, we have Monique, we have Meeches, we have Sarah, and we have Candy. All 5 of them have a different story. All 5 of them are very unique. All 5 of them are extraordinary. All 5 of them are nannies. It's just dope. Just go watch it. Okay, go watch it. But this week we are back with our juicy story, sharing the most juiciest story we can find in this nanny industry and getting it out to you guys. This week is all about the event that took place in the UK. If you have not seen it on the social media platforms, I'm sure we all have. It's the Jubilee pageant parade happened at the Buckingham Mall this past weekend, and a juicy thing happened there that we are going to talk about. So sit back, relax, and let's get back to our juicy stories. All right, let's go. Alrighty, so this past weekend in the UK at the Buckingham Palace Mall, there was a Jubilee pageant parade that took place, and the royal family all made an appearance, from the grandparents to the aunts and the uncles to the moms and to the prince and the princess, to the queen and the king, to the kids, to the little princesses and the prince, to the nanny. If you didn't see that in there, it was a family affair, right? And as we know, the royal family is a very, I wouldn't even say it's a high profile family. It's just a royal family, right? Which is even a little bit higher than working with a higher profile family. This is the top, highest of the highest you can be as a nanny working with, right? And so they have this very big appearance with them about how they have to be very, perfect, honestly, because as the royal family just has a lot of rules and regulations and laws that they follow to make themselves this royalness that they are. So on Sunday, the pageant was going great. They all attended. They were taking their pictures. Everything was looking picture perfect, like we all see every time from them. And then, the pageant's going on, and then they kind of zoom in on Prince Louis, which is Kate Middleton, or Princess Kate's son. She's the mom, and he's the son, and it's Prince Henry's son as well. So he's the little boy, right? And he's been, he's been seen showing like faces to his mom. His mom Kate is trying to discipline him, and he's telling her to put his face in his mouth to tell her to be quiet. He's sticking his tongue out at her. He's making these weird faces at everybody in the pageant. He's very fidgety, up and down, just messing with anything he can possibly mess with, basically grabbing attention that he can basically grab. And it caught the attention from the world. There has been a lot of stories that right after this happened about a lot of critiques that just about how this kid, I've seen a lot of headlines about this kid being a spoiled brat and this spoiledness, and his mom can't handle him and all this stuff, right? And so when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, man, like, where the nanny at? Like, well, why he acting like this over here? Then I kind of sat down and really thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, he okay? Like, I'm thinking as like a child, like in a child sense, right? And I want to talk about this on my channel, and just ask the question, why do we put these kids, especially high profile, especially royalty families, in this microscope as playful, as Reagan at the Playful Arc has stated, we had a great conversation about this, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But she asked this question, and I was like, I'm going to ask this on my channel. Why do we put these kids underneath this microscope that they have to be this perfect human being, and especially when it comes to high profile families? Why do we do that? And it's not just us nannies that's doing it. It's parents. It's the society. And at the end of the day, these kids, they are just kids at the end of the day. Yes, they live in a house and have experienced some things that a normal kid maybe has experienced. But at the end of the day, they are a child and they have a child brain. And so we can't just assume that they just gonna be able to act like an adult when they are a child. So when I see this headline, especially in the New York Post, which I will I'll post the link. It says Prince Louis face at the Jubilee, a spoiled brat or just a normal 4-year-old. And I'm like, if you really truly look at it and really think about it, this little boy is acting just as normal as a 4-year-old can be, right? He is a 4-year-old, right? No matter how much you try to train him to be this royalness and act this certain way, he is a 4-year-old at the end of the day. So how he acted was basically simply expressing himself that he ready to go, gotta go. And as a 4-year-old sitting at a pageant and being the mom, I would be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, baby. Like, I know I got you up in here and I know you ready. I can tell you ready to go. And I don't think that really happened. But at the end of the day, I wasn't there. None of us were there to know exactly how this portrayed went on. But as you can see, I just don't think that happened as Kate was, told him, like, I get it, we was ready to go. And so to see these lines go around that he's a spoiled brat, that he's this, Kate can't handle his child. That's what you get for having nannies and not being in your child's life. I mean, there were so many negative comments about this, and I just, as like being an educator and honestly talking to some other educators and nannies and getting their opinion about it, we all at the end of the day have this same goal, is that this child is a child. Is a child, and he's going to act like a child at the end of the day, no matter how much you try to make him not act like a child, right? And so that's exactly what Prince Louis was doing here, y'all. He was just literally acting like a 4-year-old. Like, we cannot expect a 4-year-old from a royal family or a celebrity or an athlete family or an art, music, like any of those high profile families. We can't expect these kids to be this perfect human being, because look at us as adults. We aren't perfect. We aren't even close to being perfect. So why do we expect these 4-year-olds, these 5-year-olds, these 6-year-olds, these 8-month-year-olds to be perfect and not to be whiny and not to be mad or angry or upset or sad or hungry, like all these emotions? Why can't we let those children experience that when we experience it every single day? So that's my question to you guys. If you have seen this story and you were thinking like, this kid is a spoiled brat, like, where's the nanny at? She needs to whip it in shape. We need to get the parents into some training because she ain't handling it. I need y'all to really sit down and to really think about it. Is he really a spoiled brat? Yeah, he's probably spoiled. Don't get me wrong. And he may have his brattiness tendencies about it, because the kid is spoiled. He comes from a royal family, so he has experienced a lot of things that a normal kid has not experienced. So for a normal kid, to them, yeah, he may be spoiled. But if we really get deep down and dive into this, he's just being a 4-year-old in this instance. Yeah, did I think that Kate could maybe handle it a certain way? Absolutely. Maybe instead of trying to shh him or to, okay, I get it. Really acknowledging that, okay, I understand, Prince Louis, you are ready to go. How about you give us, 5-10 minutes and I'll get you, we'll get up and we'll walk around for a minute and we'll come sit back down. Like, there's all these different options that could have took place in this instance. And I don't know 100% exactly what took place in this instance, because all we're doing is looking at pictures and videos of it. It could be a whole different moment. Like, who knows, right? But I just think that Kate could have done it a little differently. But at the end of the day, Prince Louis, he was just acting like a 4-year-old, y'all. And so I actually talked to a couple nannies, because there was actually some nannies that posted about it, and it got me this idea of to share this story out on the channel. Reagan from Playful Art, she was the main one that really posted about it and grabbed my attention, and because that's what she, not I want to say she's the one that changed my opinion about it, but she really got me to sit down and to really think like, oh yeah, because she was basically stating that he acting like a 4-year-old, like he's basically expressing that he is ready to go. He is expressing like, this is, I can't handle, like I'm ready to go, it's time to go. And she opened my eyes to it, because I'm like, at first I was thinking like, yeah, this little woman, what, like he acting a fool up there, like, you know. And at the end of the day, like, and I was like, you know what, after hearing her opinion and hearing her biases on it, basically stating that this kid is acting like a 4-year-old. He's just expressing his emotions, and that's his way of expressing, because that is how he's been taught to express his emotions. And remember, kids are taught how to express by emotions by watching us adults. So his mom has probably has told him to be shh, so he shushed her back. His mom probably has told her to, you know, has covered his mouth, so he covered her mouth back because she was talking to him, like, you know, like he learned those behaviors by watching what he did. And that's kind of what Reagan was talking about. It's just like this is his way of expressing himself, and these are the ways that he was taught how to express himself. And to a public eye, coming from a, like, yeah, maybe coming from a royal family, that is a big, like, whoa. But at the end of the day, he's a kid. And Reagan just basically stating that he's a kid at the end of the day, and he ready to go. And as a mom, she was like, as a mom, she wouldn't be able to expect her son to sit through something like that. Like, and I was like, you are so right, Reagan. Like, we can't expect a 4-year-old to sit through a pageant. He doesn't want to be there. So why do we expect him to be there? Expect him to be this perfect person while he's there, because he doesn't want to be there. Think about a time when you didn't want to go somewhere, and did you make it known that you didn't want to go somewhere, especially if, you know what I'm saying, like pulling your teeth, like, you've been there. You all had a moment where you didn't want to go somewhere, and you went, and you made it known that you didn't want to go be there. And did you get in trouble for that? Did you get called a spoiled brat? Did you get called that your mama can't handle? Did you get called this and that, all these names as a 4-year-old? No. You was just, people were like, oh, it's just one of them days. And that's exactly what happened with Prince Louis. It's just one of those days. Nanny Shar had the same, kind of the same thing too. Like, she has she thinks that I think Kate could have done a different way about mothering it and being a mother. And she just basically says that, like, at the end of the day, we're just making sure that the kid is taken care of, and making sure that he is learning ways to communicate and express themselves in the appropriate ways, and how to express themselves in appropriate ways. And so that's, at the end of the day, that's what we all are trying to do, and what we're all trying as educators to, teach them different ways and tools. So, y'all, leave little Prince Louis alone, okay? Just leave little boy alone. He was ready to go. And honestly, quite frankly, I can't blame him as a 4-year-old. I wouldn't want to be at no pageant, especially as a 4-year-old little boy. I wouldn't want to be at a pageant. He's probably in the boy stage, full force. I'm just assuming. Playing with trucks and cars and dirt and all that stuff, and you talking about I have to go to a pageant, and then mama, you talking about I can't act up. Man, you got me messed up. That's how I know Prince Louis was thinking. And that's what, as a society, we have to think as wise too. We cannot expect these we cannot expect these high profile families, these top-notch families, these top-notch kids to be these perfect little human beings. Yes, you're gonna have to teach them different ways than just a normal kid may be, just because of the atmospheres and the environments that they are in. But it don't mean that they can't be a kid at the end of the day, okay? Like, I was just talking to my family about this. My nanny kid wanted to have some corn dogs, and the corn dogs are like high up on the list of not to have. Like, her mama they're very healthy, all this. But we were at a water park, y'all, and having so much fun. And I was like, you know what, girl, order them. And so she went home. She told her mom she had some corn dogs. Her mom was like, oh, whoa, corn dogs. And so I, stepped in and was like, at the end of the day, she's a child. She's a kid, and I don't want to be the one to take away her childhood experience. And if she wants to have corn dogs one day of the year, then I'm gonna let that happen sometimes. And I was like, I hope that you respect that and understand where I was coming from that. And she was all for it. She was like, you are 100% right. She's a child at the end of the day. She has her whole life to be healthy, I guess, if you want to consider it like it. So it's just a prime example of this. Let kids be kids, even if they come in from high profile families, royal families. At the end of the day, they are kids, okay? They are kids to be kids. So, guys, I want to hear your guys' opinions about it. I shared a couple nannies, Reagan's opinion about it. I shared a little bit about Nanny Shar's opinion, but I want to hear you guys' opinion. What were you thinking when you first saw this? What were you thinking when you first saw Prince Henry shushing, telling his mama to be quiet? Because, like I said, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, heck no. Like, we don't do that. I was never taught to put my mouth over my mama's face. I was never taught to shush her. I was never taught those things because I was just told that's just a form of disrespect. But that's in my household. And as a nanny, I don't know if being a nanny has opened my eyes that every household is different. Every parenting is different. Everybody does it a different way. In the Buckingham Palace is no place different. They do it a different way. They parent a different way. They allow things to go a different way. And if that's how they discipline their kids at home, by shushing them or by covering their mouths, then I'm honestly not surprised that he did that to his mom either, because that's something he probably has seen in his house or has heard has happened in his house, and so he's just mimicking what he was taught. So that's really what it is at the end of the day. These behaviors, if you don't like how your kid is doing with your behaviors, then you might need to do some self-reflection as yourself and maybe figure out some behavior changes that you could do in yourself to change to help your kid in order to grow. So comment below what you think, what your opinion was like, what you think about the situation. Do you think he is a spoiled brat or a spoiled child? I mean, I think he's a spoiled child. I don't know if he's a brat. He might have his bratty tendencies. I don't like calling kids brats. But he is a spoiled child. He comes from a royal family, and we come from a family, and don't get me wrong, I'm blessed as blessed can be, but there are, as we know, there are people that are more blessed, but I don't like to consider myself like that. So I just want to hear y'all's opinions. I'm just rambling now. I want to hear y'all's opinions about it. I want to know what you were thinking, why you were thinking that. Did your opinion change after you did a little self-reflection? Did you read what were some nasty comments you saw that pointed you out? I just want to hear it all. Let me know in the comment section below. Check out this post on our Instagram page, Nanny Announcements. I'm gonna hear about that as well. I'm gonna post about that. I'm gonna ask some opinions, and I just want to know, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. This is our juicy episode for this Friday. Stay tuned for next week's episode. It's another juicy episode. I'm going to talk about why us nannies are so harsh with each other, especially when it comes to Facebook groups. So sit back and relax for that one. If you have not watched the 5 extraordinary interviews, go do so right now. And I will see you all this next week for another juicy story in our announcement episode. Love you all. Have a great weekend and see you soon. Bye.